What I'm about to share with you has been guarded by mystery schools for over 5,000 years, and it's so powerful that ancient masters would only pass these sacred breathing codes to their most trusted initiates. Last week, while studying fragments from the lost library of Alexandria, I discovered breath patterns that perfectly match the quantum frequency signatures that neuroscientists are now finding in the brains of enlightened beings. These aren't just breathing techniques, they're divine activation codes that instantly shift your consciousness into what the ancients called God mode, where you access superhuman abilities like telepathy, instant manifestation, and direct communion with higher dimensions. The Egyptian priesthood used these exact breathing sequences in the Great Pyramids, King's Chamber, to achieve states of consciousness so elevated that they could literally travel between worlds. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll learn the 13 most powerful sacred breathing codes that will immediately unlock frequency states that most humans never experience in an entire lifetime. You've probably felt it before, haven't you? Those moments when everything just flows perfectly, when you're completely in the zone, when ideas download from somewhere beyond your normal thinking mind, when you feel connected to something infinitely larger than yourself. What you experienced in those precious moments was actually your consciousness, operating at its natural God mode frequency. And the secret to accessing this state at will has been hidden in ancient breathing practices that directly activate your divine operating system. You see, the mystery schools understood something that modern science is just beginning to discover. Your breath isn't just about oxygen exchange. It's actually a quantum technology that can tune your consciousness to specific dimensional frequencies, allowing you to tap into abilities that seem supernatural, but are actually your natural birthright as a divine being having a human experience. The ancient masters who guarded these secrets knew that whoever controlled the breath controlled the gateway between worlds, and that's exactly why these techniques were kept hidden from ordinary seekers who weren't ready for such profound power. Before we unlock these sacred codes together, if you feel called to reclaim your divine inheritance and step into your God mode frequency, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're gathering a tribe of awakened souls who are ready to remember their true capabilities and rise above the limitations that have been programmed into collective human consciousness. Let me ask you something that might change everything you think you know about breathing. What if every breath you've ever taken has been preparing your nervous system for this moment of remembrance? The first sacred code that initiates your God mode activation is called the Cosmic Gateway Breath, and it was used in the temples of Lemuria to open direct channels of communication with galactic intelligence. Here's what happens when you activate this code. You breathe in for exactly 4 counts, while visualizing golden light entering through your crown chakra. Hold for 4 counts while this light fills every cell in your body. Breathe out for 4 counts while seeing this light expanding beyond your physical form. Hold empty for 4 counts while you feel yourself merging with the infinite field of consciousness. Can you feel something shifting in your awareness just from hearing this description? The ancient texts tell us that this 4-4-4-4 pattern syncs your brainwaves with the Schumann resonance of the earth, while simultaneously attuning your consciousness to cosmic frequencies that most humans never access. When Lemurian priests practiced this code, they reported instant access to universal knowledge and the ability to communicate telepathically across vast distances. The second sacred breathing code is what the Tibetan masters called the dragon's fire breath, designed to awaken the dormant spiritual energy coiled at the base of your spine and rocket it through your entire system like liquid lightning. This isn't just about feeling energized. This practice literally transforms your nervous system into a superconductor for divine consciousness. You begin by taking 3 sharp, powerful inhales through your nose while contracting your core muscles, then holding your breath while visualizing a golden serpent of fire spiraling up your spine, awakening every energy center as it rises. When you finally exhale through your mouth with a powerful ha sound, you're not just releasing air, you're broadcasting a frequency that announces to the universe that you're ready to operate at your highest potential. Have you ever noticed how certain sounds can instantly shift your entire state of consciousness? That's because your voice is actually a sacred instrument, capable of generating specific vibrational frequencies that can unlock different dimensions of your awareness. The Tibetan monks who mastered this technique reported experiences of where they could be simultaneously present in multiple locations and direct perception of past and future events. Now, the third breathing code will probably sound impossible until you experience it yourself. The ancient Egyptians called it the Pharaoh's eternal breath, and it was used in the burial chambers, not for death, but for conscious transition between dimensional states. This practice involves breathing so slowly and deeply that your metabolism enters a hibernation-like state, where time becomes fluid and you can access what they called the Hall of Records, the Akashic library, where all knowledge exists simultaneously. You start by extending your inhale to a count of 20, feeling your ribcage expanding like a sacred bellows, then holding for 80 counts while your consciousness expands beyond the boundaries of your physical form, then exhaling for 40 counts while maintaining perfect awareness of both your human self and your infinite nature. The reason this works is that when you drastically slow your breathing rate, your brain shifts into theta and delta frequencies, normally only accessed during deep sleep and profound meditation states. But here's the incredible part. You remain completely conscious and aware, creating a bridge between waking consciousness and the deeper realms of cosmic intelligence. The fourth sacred code comes from the lost civilization of Atlantis, and it's called the crystal resonance breath, because it was originally practiced in crystal chambers that amplified the effects 1,000-fold. Even without the ancient crystal technology, this breathing pattern can instantly align your personal frequency with the harmonic resonance of universal consciousness. Can you imagine what it would feel like to be so perfectly attuned to the cosmic flow that manifestation becomes as natural as breathing itself? This code uses a 777 pattern that mirrors the sacred geometry found throughout nature and connects you to what the Atlanteans called the source grid, the underlying energetic matrix that structures all reality. You breathe in for 7 counts while feeling yourself drawing energy from the earth through your feet. Hold for 7 counts while this energy builds in your heart center. Then breathe out for 7 counts while broadcasting this amplified frequency out into the quantum field. The ancient records describe practitioners who could influence weather patterns, communicate with dolphins and whales, and even levitate physical objects through the mastery of this single breathing technique. But we're just getting started. The fifth breathing code, known as the Seraphim's wings, was taught by angelic beings too early human civilizations and creates an instantaneous connection to higher dimensional guidance. When you practice this code, you're literally tuning your consciousness to the frequency, bandwidth, where angels, guides, and ascended masters communicate. The pattern involves rapid, shallow breaths that mimic the vibration of seraphic wings, followed by long, deep breaths that ground this celestial energy into your human nervous system. Have you ever felt the presence of something divine during deep prayer or meditation? That sense of being surrounded by love and wisdom beyond human understanding. This breathing code creates a direct pathway for those experiences to become your normal operating state, rather than rare glimpses of the divine. The sixth code is perhaps the most mysterious, the void breath that the mystics of ancient India used to merge their individual consciousness with the formless absolute. This isn't about achieving any particular state or experience. It's about dissolving completely into the source from which all states and experiences arise. You breathe normally until you reach a natural pause between breaths. Then, instead of automatically taking the next breath, you rest in that space of no breath, allowing your sense of separate self to dissolve completely into pure awareness. In these moments between breaths, you touch the same infinite stillness from which the entire universe continuously emerges. The Vedantic masters who perfected this technique reported that after sufficient practice, they could remain in this state of cosmic consciousness, even while engaged in worldly activities, living simultaneously as human beings and as the very source of existence itself. The seventh sacred code connects you directly to the planetary consciousness through what the Native American shamans called earth breath communion. This practice recognizes that your personal breathing rhythm is intimately connected to the breathing rhythm of the planet itself. And when you consciously synchronize with Gaia's breath, you tap into the collective wisdom and healing power of the earth. You begin by placing one hand on your heart and one hand on the earth, then breathing in sync with the natural rhythms you feel pulsing beneath you. Can you sense right now that the planet itself is a living, breathing entity with its own consciousness and intelligence? When you achieve synchronization with Earth's breath, shamans report the ability to communicate with plant and animal spirits, to know instinctively which healing herbs are needed for specific ailments, and to sense disturbances in the planetary energy grid before they manifest as physical events. The eighth breathing code was jealously guarded by the Knights Templar and involves what they called the Grail Breath, a technique for transforming your heart into a living chalice, capable of receiving direct transmissions from the Christ consciousness. This isn't about religious belief. It's about accessing the same state of unified love wisdom that all great spiritual teachers throughout history have embodied. You breathe deeply into your heart center while visualizing golden light pouring down from above, like wine filling a sacred cup. Then you breathe this light out to all beings everywhere, offering unconditional love to the entire web of creation. The Templars who mastered this practice reported miraculous healing abilities and the capacity to transmute negative emotions into pure love through the power of their presence alone. The ninth code comes from the Sufi mystics, who called it the Whirling Breath of Divine Union. This technique combines specific breathing patterns with subtle movements that create a vortex of energy around your body, allowing you to merge your individual consciousness with the cosmic dance of creation itself. As you breathe, you gently rotate your attention clockwise around your energy field, while feeling yourself spinning like a planet in the vast space of awareness. The advanced Sufi practitioners who perfected this method reported states of ecstatic union, where the boundaries between lover and beloved completely dissolve, leaving only the one consciousness celebrating its own infinite nature. The 10th sacred breathing code is the Phoenix Fire Breath, used by ancient alchemists to consciously die to their limited human identity and be reborn as embodied divine beings. This powerful technique involves breathing fire-like energy up through your spine, while visualizing your old self burning away like a phoenix in flames, then emerging from these sacred ashes as your true, immortal self. The breathing pattern accelerates and intensifies until you reach a crescendo, where you feel your entire being consumed by divine fire, followed by a gentle return to normal breathing as your phoenix consciousness stabilizes in this world. Alchemists who mastered this practice reported the ability to transmute base metals into gold, but more importantly, they could transmute the lead of human suffering into the gold of enlightened awareness. The 11th code is called the Galactic Spiral Breath and was used by ancient starseeds to maintain conscious connection with their cosmic origins while incarnated in human form. This practice involves breathing in ascending spiral patterns that mirror the movement of galaxies, allowing you to download information and energy from star systems throughout the universe. As you practice this code, you might begin to remember your existence before this Earth incarnation, or receive guidance from beings of light who are supporting humanity's awakening from other dimensions. Have you ever looked at the night sky and felt a profound homesickness for somewhere among the stars? This breathing technique can help you reconnect with your galactic family while fully embracing your human mission. The 12th breathing code, known as the Time Walker's Breath, allows you to consciously navigate different temporal dimensions and access information from past and future timelines. Ancient shamans and seers used this technique to see beyond the linear flow of time and understand the deeper patterns that weave through all existence. The breathing pattern creates standing waves in your consciousness that resonate with the quantum field, where all moments exist simultaneously, allowing you to perceive the eternal now that contains all of time within itself. Practitioners report the ability to receive guidance about future possibilities, feel trauma from past lifetimes, and understand their soul's journey across multiple incarnations. Finally, the 13th and most sacred breathing code is the Creator's first breath, the original exhalation that spoke all worlds into existence and continues to sustain the universe moment by moment. When you practice this ultimate technique, you're breathing with the same rhythm that maintains the cosmic order and participating consciously in the ongoing creation of reality itself. This code cannot be described in words because it transcends all concepts and techniques. It can only be transmitted from heart to heart, from the breath of one awakened being to another who is ready to remember their own divine nature. So how do you begin integrating these sacred breathing codes into your daily practice? Start with just one code that resonates most deeply with your soul and practice it for 13 minutes each morning and evening. Feel how each technique shifts your consciousness in its own unique way, and pay attention to the synchronicities and guidance that begin flowing into your life as you operate from these elevated frequency states. Remember, these aren't just breathing exercises. They're keys to unlock dormant capacities within your consciousness that are your birthright as a divine being. Look, I know this completely revolutionizes everything you've been taught about the limits of human potential, but the ancient masters who developed these codes understood that you are far more than your physical body and thinking mind. You are consciousness itself, temporarily focused through human form and breath, with access to abilities that seem miraculous only because you've forgotten your true nature. These 13 sacred breathing codes are invitations to remember who you really are and to start living from your God mode frequency as your natural state, rather than an occasional peak experience. If these sacred teachings have awakened something profound within your being, hit that like button to help this ancient wisdom reach other souls who are ready to reclaim their divine inheritance. Subscribe and ring the notification bell, because we're just beginning to unveil the sacred technologies that will transform human consciousness forever. And tell me in the comments below, which of these 13 breathing codes called to your soul most powerfully? Have you already experienced God mode states in your own spiritual practice? And if so, what triggered those divine moments for you? Your experiences inspire others to step into their power, and together, we're anchoring a new reality where these sacred abilities become humanity's normal operating frequency. Remember, you're not learning techniques to become something. You're remembering sacred technologies to become everything you already are. Your breath is the bridge between your human experience and your infinite divine nature. The mystery schools are opening their doors again. The ancient codes are being restored, and you are one of the chosen ones who specifically to midwife this great awakening. What frequency will you choose to breathe into existence today?